In the third quarter,
Can
you
you
made
take
a
us through some of these lineup adjustments that you made?
There's some substitution patterns in the third quarter we didn't agree with.
God
Some of those aces
dang.
that grew up in this.
Pressing in the
Making you reconsider.
When you take a look at this season, Chauncey, obviously you did the January 19th or post, 2025 calendar flip. When you look back at this season, what are you going to take away from it?
It was again, I don't look at this season and only think about from January on. I think of it in its totality. It was up and down. We had a ways to go, but it's like I'm pretty sure every head coach will sit up there today and say, it was like this. With the exception of probably OKC and Cleveland. So I look at the whole thing, and I really do. I thought we made some incredible strides, and when we were at our best, man, we were really, really humming, man. Now, do I think that we could have been that good all season? Probably not. We're not really quite ready for that part. But going forward, I think it's really, really important for our guys that have known how that feels to play the right way and to be able to beat anybody when you do so at a young age. I thought it was really important. And for us to keep going and keep going and keep going, I thought that was the feeling that our guys had, like the things that we were preaching in terms of the defensive pressure and offensive rebound and then sharing the ball. When they finally started to see, like, oh, that's the remedy, they got greedy, and they fell in love with it. So that's why I thought that's what kind of happened. But I'm really happy with how the year went.
You talked about your imprint and putting that on the team. Whether you or any other coach in the league, every year is kind of siloed. How do you carry that over from this year into next year and make sure that it's not we have to figure it out again, or how do you get them to remember what this was?
Yeah, I think for the first time since I've been here, that's not something that I'm really going to be concerned with, because I do think that we do have what our culture is now. And so either you play that way or you don't, and you don't really play. So I'm happy to be at that point. You don't have to reestablish that every year, and it shouldn't take you 30, 40 games to get into it. And, we can target people that play that way. So I'm just excited. I don't think it will take us till December. We'll obviously have tough stretches every year, but I think our culture and the way that we want to play is set. I think you only have to do that once. And once you finally get it, you just never know when it's going to happen. But once you finally get it, I think you only have to do that once.
What does this team need to add and or develop to take the next step?
Yeah, I think all of our guys need to get better, me included. We all need to get better and take a step. But I think we were in a lot of games this year, and then, we just didn't have enough shot making, to make it through the game. Our defense was good enough. So I think, our guys working on shots, shot making, over the summer is going to be a big deal, and us targeting those type of players, I think, will be a big deal. That will help us out. Our defensive rebounding, our offensive rebounding was big time, but our defensive rebounding is an area of concern for us. And I think, the other thing that I would say is just our feel, our feel for the game, our IQ. And a lot of that is continuing to get better just by way of our guys playing in these situations so many times. But that was another area that I thought, we need to be a ton better there.
You talked just now about everybody kind of needing to get better, and that including you. Now you've got your contract, you got your job security. You're going to be here for the next few years. What's the next thing that you're going to work on as yourself as getting better as a coach? What's the next thing you need to do with your progression?
Yeah, I think there's a lot, man. There's a lot, to be honest. But I think for me, I need to have us in a better position offensively this year. We need to be much better there. Obviously, the shooting and the feel and all those things will only help that. But just me, period, needing to be better with trying to get some of our better players in better positions a lot of times. And I thought one area that I want us to get better at, and obviously it all starts with me, but just our ball movement really picked up. But in terms of in the half court, our player and body movement wasn't great. And I think we need to be so much better there. So that's one area, that I want to get much better at. And obviously I'll be doing a lot of studying and talking to a lot of people, and, I'll do the work, obviously. So that's one thing that I'll be, God bless you, man, that I'll be concerned with trying to get better at. I think I always love like late game situations, and being able to outfox other teams and draw plays and things. I've really been into that. And we had a lot of situations this year I thought I did a pretty good job, and then there was some where I was like, dang, I wish I had a do-over there. I would have ran this, or I would have ran it for this guy, or things that every coach would tell you. So I want to get better there too. So there's several things. I think defensively, I want to ramp our defense up more. I want to do more defensively, be a little more crafty, have more tools in the toolbox, if you will. A lot. There's a lot of things that I can point to and say I got to be better at.
Do you anticipate a change in approach with what you do, going from a team of young guys with hopes and projections versus now you have a body of work for a lot of young guys?
Change in approach in terms of what?
Just like maybe do you focus on different things? Is it less development, more about execution, just like stuff like that? Do you think your job changes at all?
Not really, other than, I talked about, just us, we've been kind of doing arithmetic, if you will. It's time to start teaching algebra, So, yeah, we got to demand more. I got to teach better. Those are the type of things that when you go from here to taking a leap to really being a team that can really compete, you have to take it up a notch, But the development will still be at the core of everything. It's just how quickly our guys can leave home plate, and start taking it up a notch. And I think we're close to being there. I really do.
How do you feel about the guard situation after this season with Ant, Scoot, and Shaden?
I think all three guys got better. I really did. I would say to you, I thought Scoot took a step this year, and it was up and down a little bit, but I thought it was more up than anything. I'm really excited for him this summer to be able to continue to. I thought he got a lot of confidence in his jump shot this year, and we all have a ton of confidence in it. So that's one thing that I think now he can kind of move on to other things, keep getting that better, but now start working on some other parts of his game. That'll open up a lot of time. So I was happy with his progress. I thought Ant, by and large, for a lot of games, was our best guy out there. We was playing through him. We was closing the games with him. I was proud of him in terms of I thought he competed every single night defensively, every night, and I demanded it from him, because it was an improvement area for him. He wasn't locking guys down, but he was competing. That's all I care about. So his care factor, his care level was high level when it came to that. So I thought Ant had a really good season in terms of all of that. A lot of people are kind of critical of Ant because, I don't know, they want him to do more offensively, but he sees coverages that 90% of the league don't see, a lot of times. And it's probably difficult on him, but I thought he hung in there. He did what he had to do. He had some down games, obviously, like anybody would, but by and large, I thought his attitude, his leadership was good. I've spoken a ton about how happy I am with Shaden. He had some up and downs too, but mostly up. I thought he took a step this year. I thought defensively he was really good when he's locked in. He was alert. Offensively, when he's aggressive, he's just really tough to guard. I think he figured some things out there. So I've been very happy with all of them. I think they're all getting better.
You had mentioned in the in your discussion pregame about kind of when you challenged the team and told them that, like, I don't care who you are, if you don't play defense, you're not going to play. Kind of what sparked that, and does that continue on now? Is that something that, like, you kind of feel like you're going to use going forward, or does that kind of change as the team grows older as well?
No, I don't think so. I think when you do that and when you go that route, you don't have to do that many times. You just got to keep standing on it. And what sparked it was we were the worst defensive team in basketball, and I thought that we were much better than that, And I was right. We were much better than that. I mean, we come out of the preseason, which, yes, preseason, but every team is playing as hard as they can in the preseason. We come out, got the best defense in basketball, after that little stretch. So you don't go from there to 30, So did I think we would have the best? No, of course not. But I thought that we would really be good defensively, and we had some great moments, obviously. So that's what sparked it, And yeah, nothing's going to change. That's just how we have to play.
All the players we spoke to today were ecstatic about your extension. However, there was some boos during opening intros when your name was said. Just what's your reaction to that?
I don't really have a reaction to that. I'm excited. I'm happy. There's nothing that's going to put a damper on this day. I worked really hard for it, and those guys, as I told them today, in all honesty, like it's a reflection of them believing in me, and believing in what I'm on out there. So we came a long way this year, and there's always going to be some people that are not happy with whatever the job you do or how you speak, how you talk, how you look, whatever it is. I don't really care about that. I really don't. I care about my guys locking in and us doing this together, so that's not a big deal to me.
Chauncey, you talked about developing the offense more. Obviously the season Denny had. Where do you kind of see his role in kind of, creating more offense for this team?
Yeah, I want to see Denny just continue to keep getting better, and he does. We all learned so much about Denny this season. We all learned a ton of, about his upside. I started letting him facilitate and kind of initiate the offense a lot of times. Did a good job with that. Obviously, he's a big-time downhill driver. Trying to put him in those positions was always advantageous for our team. So I don't know what Denny's ceiling is, but we're going to find it out, that's for sure. But I'm proud of what he was able to do this season. He was incredible, man. He was incredible.
Does this franchise need to make some key decisions regarding some vets, i.e. Grant, Ayton, in terms of how they fit?
To me, that's a question for Joe. All right, I'm going to coach my guys the best as I can, and I'm going to pour into all of them the best way I can. And whoever I have, I'm going to try to make them better, and I'm going to try to make it work. But that's not my job, though. That's a question for Joe.
In terms of Grant, though, were you surprised at the offseason he had? It seemed to come out of nowhere. He'd been so good the first couple of years here.
He's surprised at the offseason?
So having a bad season, I mean.
Oh. See, I thought that Jeremy struggled offensively, mainly because of the differences that we did on offense. Jeremy's been a guy over the course of his career that is he's made a living, and his comfort shot is kind of those mid-range shots, and we try to make a concerted effort to minimize those shots all year. So I was really on him the whole time about not taking those shots. Well, that's the shot that he's known, for the last 6 or 7 years. And even though he's a really good three-point shooter, those shots get him comfortable to make the threes. So a lot of his struggles had a lot to do with me and what we were trying to do. But there's one place that I think he didn't struggle at all, and that was on the defensive end. And most people don't look at that. They're just looking at if he's scoring or his numbers are down or this and that. But when we went on that run, I thought some of the most important situations we had there was just being able to put Tumani and Jeremy on their best two players. And that gave us all we needed on that end of the floor. His numbers were down from an offensive standpoint. But I thought defensively he had a big-time year. I really did. But most people don't really look at that.
Chauncey, when you look at your time here so far, you've mentioned when it's a very different team than you took over. You took over a veteran team. Have you learned that you like coaching the younger guys more or less than a veteran team? Like what are obviously there's unique challenges with young guys, but is that something that because you could have had opportunities elsewhere if they had not picked you up, is that something you found that you like, is kind of coaching these young guys up?
Yeah, I do like it. I really do. I love to teach, man. I really do. I love to teach, and I think with the knowledge that I have and the experience and what I've done in the sport, I'm able to teach young guys. I'm able to teach veterans. I can teach them all, but I found some incredible beauty in being able to teach them from the ground up, and it's painful sometimes, but and then you see them start coming out of it and starting to blossom, and that's where you just love it, that's one of the things I always felt like I just wanted to kind of give back to these guys, because they make it to a point, all of these dudes, they get drafted, they make it to a point where, I don't know, some of their coaches or family or their people, they get to a point where they can't help them as much, and you just have to really kind of just be their support system. But who's going to help them from there, and the coach should be able to do that. And I think that's one of the advantages that I have is I've pretty much accomplished everything that these guys want to accomplish. And I've done it from different seats on the bench or in the starting lineup. I've done it from everywhere. So I'm able to help them all, and that is what fills my cup up, and that's why I love it.